We're live. Yes,
How are you?
I'm good. Diogo Calado. Thank you for coming.
Oh, thank you. It's like I feel really happy to be doing this on your birthday. So
Yeah, thank you.
thank you.
Yeah, it's a special day for me
Yeah.
to be
For
able
me
to
too.
celebrate
But
with you
for
here.
me too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
recording a podcast with you on your birthday for me
Yeah.
it's
You know
perfect.
how long I've been setting this up
Yeah,
for,
yeah, yeah.
and
And not only that, we've been trying to record it for a long time. And
yeah,
being today, it's
yeah,
perfect. Yeah.
yeah. Well, you're a busy guy.
Yeah. My life, you too, but
Yeah,
my life now it's always changing and like more changes on the last week. So I need to get
yeah,
my schedule going on. So it's
yeah,
been hard to
yeah,
do everything I want to do.
yeah, for sure.
But here now, so
Yes, that's what matters. Here now, celebrate my birthday
yeah,
with me.
yeah. Perfect.
Yeah. I've just like the last couple of episodes that I've done. You're obviously somebody that I know very well, that we've spent a lot of time together. But I'd like to talk a little bit about your backstory first, just for people who might not know who you are, or might not know so much about you, so that then we can get into
Of course.
the more juicy details of what's happening now with your life.
Okay.
So why don't you start by telling me when you started and how? So when did you? You're, for those people that don't know you, you're a professional fighter, and you've dedicated your life to this in a country that doesn't always support it. But you've made it happen, and you've made us proud. Like,
Thank you.
Definitely an example for me and many of the people that know you as a person, as a human being, and as an athlete. The way that you live your life. But tell me, when did this start? When did you start with the fighting? And
So it started when I was 7, but in reality, I can't explain why did I want so much to be a fighter, because while I was growing up, I can't really tell you when. Maybe you should interview my father or mother, because they will know better than me. But they noticed that I really like tough, playing with the other kids. I was tough with my father. I was trying to like mimic a fight while playing, and really physical stuff. And I don't know, maybe because I saw Dragon Ball a lot of times, uh, fighting movies, Van Damme, Bruce Lee, everything. I really wanted to try martial arts. And when I got to 7, my mother said, "Okay, let's put this kid on karate classes," because they really thought it was gonna be good for me, because I was I would not say problematic, but I was a different type of child. Let's say a lot of energy. I didn't sleep maybe 2 hours a day. On afternoon, I slept a little bit, but all night I was up, full of energy. So it was crazy for my parents too while I was growing up. And they thought martial arts was going to be a good thing for me, and because I really wanted it, uh, when I was a kid, I started really young age, 7, in karate. Then,
but you weren't a violent guy.
no, not at all. But I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how to explain. I liked the rough play, everything, and I was a physical kid, always running, always doing crazy stuff. And I think I don't know if I said it, but I liked the thing of being a fighter, and that's why I was telling you about seeing Dragon Ball anime and some other fighting movies, because uh, I really don't know why did I want so much to be a fighter even as a kid. But I started it at 7. I maybe 1 year or 2 years after, because as soon as I started practicing, I got to competitions. I don't know, maybe if it was 1 month, 2 months after, but as soon as I started, I get to do my first karate fights, different than kickboxing or Muay Thai or MMA, but it was the beginning. And I don't know, maybe by 9, I really said to I really want to be a professional fighter. I want to be a fighter. By 13, 14, I started seeing some MMA competitions, because my father would go to the USA every year on January to Las Vegas, and he brought DVDs with fighting competitions in Japan, in the USA too, and before it was Pride FC's like the rival of the UFC back then, and I saw MMA, and it in Eurosport, the TV channel, they would pass a competition like it's the K1 Max tournament and K1 GP. It's the heavyweights, and K1 Max would be the 70 kilos tournament. And I start seeing some Muay Thai guys and kickboxing guys, really strong fighters, and even in MMA fights too, the Muay Thai and kickboxing fighters were really, really good. And I start checking out if here in Cascais there was any gym, and I found in the old dramatic Cascais there was a good trainer, and I went there, I think with 14, and that was when I changed from karate to Muay Thai. The first year I did both karate and Muay Thai. I went to some competitions in both, and I got good results. But then my master from karate stopped giving classes, and I started in Muay Thai. And then I did at least one international championship in karate. I was, I don't know, bronze medal or silver. I think it was bronze. And in Muay Thai I started by like 14 doing the national championships, regional champion from your region too, and with 17 I went to my first world championship and I won. So that changed my perspective of fighting, and I really understood, okay, I really want to be a fighter, and I can do it. I can be a good fighter if in my age category I could be a world champion. If I continue to train and focus on this path, I can go to be a world champion as a senior, because I was a junior back then. And that was it. Basically, the beginning was like that.
Yeah.
I have some fun stories, some with you, that made me change the way I can give you, like, this story I think I can tell you. So, people that don't know me as a kid in Cascais, because even the guys that know me now don't know my teenage years, and you know it. And I was a little bit crazy. I was a good fighter as a kid. I won every fight as a junior in Portugal, and I go out at night with you. I drank, I did crazy stuff. I think every weekend we would go to Marina de Cascais or Deck in Estoril, do crazy stuff. And I would, if my father would tell me, you think that life of going out, drinking, smoking joints, and winning fights go when you get to adult age, hey, you start getting your ass kicked, you will stop with that life. But I would hear that and think, okay, he tells this, but after I go to a championship and I win, so it doesn't matter. My first European championship was with 17 too. And I don't know, maybe in September or something. And 2 weeks before or 1 week before the championship, during the weekend, the uncle of one good friend of ours, Gonçalo Castelo Branco, did his 45 birthday party, and he asked to his nephew if he could get some friends to work on the party and put the plates on the tables and prepare the party. And it was me, you, and my cousin Bernardo that were there working. 2 weeks before our European Championship. I will not tell you what. It was like completely crazy. Do you remember?
I remember.
It was really funny. But for an athlete, it's impossible to keep that life. I don't know. We didn't sleep. We get there maybe 4 o'clock in the afternoon, smoking joints, drinking, doing everything you shouldn't do as an athlete. And the party was completely crazy, but it was really nice. I remember some stuff, and I because after a while I was really crazy, but it was really nice. And 2 weeks after, I went to the European Championship and I lost. The first fight I lost was versus a Russian guy that won the championship. I lost in the semifinals, and that made me think, okay, fuck. Maybe this was a really close fight. This guy won. He got to win the gold medal, and I lost. And why did I lost? Maybe I lost because I thought I was a super champion, and here in Portugal I keep winning the fights. And I was 17, but in Portugal I already fought with adults because I was winning all the junior championships. So my coach said, no, fuck, go to senior. If you lose, you lose. But I kept winning. I did my first no protection fights. It was like semi-professional with 16. I was 16. So with 17, I thought I go to the World Championship junior and I win. But I lost. And I started thinking, okay, maybe my father was right when he told me this life of going out at night, smoking and drinking doesn't go along with being an athlete. And that changed my way of thinking about training. And they told me on the European Championship that if everything went well, I would go to the World Championship in Thailand 3 months after. But on that European Championship, I did a crazy thing too. Okay, I told I told to these guys that were there with me, I would stop drinking, smoking, smoking joints, because cigarettes I never smoked one cigarette in my life, but joints some. And I said to my friends, I will stop doing everything until the World Championship. I will just train morning and afternoon, go to classes on school and just train. But today, like in the last day of the European Championship, there's a party, like they call it sayonara party, because everybody on the championship already finished and just go to dinner and go to a disco and do crazy stuff. And I went to the disco, drink, didn't smoke joints, but drank. And when I got to my hotel room with my friends, everyone was drunk. I get a fire extinguisher from the the hall, and I went to the room and opened the fire extinguisher and like crazy stuff. And the president from the Portuguese Kickboxing and Muay Thai Federation said, "You will never come again to this competition." But all the coaches knew me and knew I did some crazy stuff, but I was a good kid. And they told her, like, give him the opportunity to go to the World Championship 3 months from then. I came back home, just train, stopped smoking, stopped drinking. When I went to the World Championship, I won. And I thought, okay, I lost the European one. Maybe because 2 weeks before or 1 week before, I was in this crazy party with you and some of my friends. I did that every weekend, and now I behaved properly as an athlete, trained morning, afternoon, didn't do shit, and I won the World Championship. So maybe this makes a difference. And after that, I just trained, and my life as an adult, you know how it is. 1 time a year or 2 times a year, I do some crazy stuff, but it's 1 day or 2 days a year. And after that, I'm just training morning and afternoon, as you know, and giving classes now as a trainer too.
Yeah.
So I I learned something by my teenage, and I learned it on time, because if I learned that maybe 4 or 5 years after, it would be too late. But with 17, I was on time to be a good fighter.
Yeah. That was the crazy thing to us who were the same age as you.
Yeah.
Is at 17, very few people have the mindset to pay attention to something like that and figure out, okay, I have responsibility in this that's happened, and I want to do something with my life that doesn't allow for this kind of behavior.
Yeah, the thing is, like I said before, as a kid, I already knew I wanted to be a fighter. As a kid, like 9 years old, I was sure, because with 5 or 6, I said I wanted to fight. But after I started practicing karate and things went well, I felt like I want to do this all my life. I want to be a fighter. So when I got to my teenage years, I always had the objective. My primary objective was being a fighter. But I thought I could be a fighter and be a crazy guy, like going out, smoking and drinking. And as soon as I understood that was impossible to mix the two things together, I already knew what I wanted to choose. I wanted to be a fighter. Like 10 or 5 or 6 years before, I already knew I wanted to be a fighter. This life is funny, okay, we can go out, but I will have a lot of different stories if I continue the path of being a fighter. And I didn't thought about it. It's just something you feel. I felt I wanted to be a fighter since I was a kid, so it was easy for me to choose and understand that those things don't go along. And my father was an athlete in a different type of sport. He was a bodybuilder. Uh, Here in Portugal, he was a respected bodybuilder, and he always told me. I just didn't want to hear because he told me the truth. But was going to some fights in Portugal and winning. So I thought, okay, he says this, but bodybuilding is different from fighting sports, and I keep fighting and winning. As soon as I lost, I understood he was right. So it was easy for me to. So I don't give too much merit to myself. Like I don't like don't with 17 years old, your mindset was different. Yeah, maybe it was, but I just knew what I wanted to do and I kept going.
Yeah. Well, for most 17-year-olds, they have no idea what they want to do.
Yeah. But that's another thing I cannot say, okay, I'm very good, like tap my shoulder and say I'm very good, and the other guys know, because I really didn't know why did I want to be a fighter. I cannot explain it to you. So some guys I know, they are lost in their lives, and by 17 is completely normal that you don't know. Like with 30 years old, 35 years old, some guys with 40, they don't know what they like to do. They like this, they like that, but and you don't have to keep doing the same thing all your life. And I'm learning that now, because being a fighter will not be, when I'm 60, I will not be a fighter for sure. So 33, if everything goes well, until 40 I can do it, but it's going to finish someday and I need to change. Of course I can keep on the fight game as a coach, as a manager, as some other thing, but my profession will change. So knowing that I wanted to be a fighter as a kid is something that I just felt, like I said it. So I don't say to me, I'm different from the other guys. I just knew it was not something that I had to work on, or had to think I need to choose this or this because I want to get money or I want to be famous. No, I just wanted to fight. So I don't say it like I'm someone better than the other guys. It's just I knew, and some guys don't know, and then they have to learn what they like. Just I think.
Yeah, and at 17 to go to the World Championship of Muay Thai in Thailand.
No, yeah.
And win.
Yeah.
I remember how that felt for us when we were back home and we heard that you'd done it. It was insane. Like, I mean, we all always had faith that you were good, but we also didn't know anything about fighting.
Yeah.
We just knew from watching your fights here how dominant you were, and we also saw from how disciplined you were and how much you enjoyed practice and what you did that we believed you were very good. But to go over there to the home of Muay Thai in the world to face some of the best fighters and win at 17, like
as a kid it was crazy for me. Like first time not out of Portugal, but first time in Asia. In Thailand, if you ever been in Thailand, you know it's completely different from Europe, and I only had been in Europe by that time. So just going there was a crazy experience that made me grow as a fighter and made me grow as a person too. But winning was like, it changed my life. Like I said, it was the after winning the gold medal, I said to me, okay, so being a fighter full time, training morning and afternoon, really gets results. I lost the European Championship because I did shit. Here I'm behaving as a fighter and I won. Harder championship because European is just guys from Europe. World is all over the world, and in Asia everything. So I had the how can I say it in English? I understood that I have to behave this way to be a fighter, and that changed my life. So that experience as a teenager, going outside of your country, different continent, uh, a culture where fighting is the national sport, like Thai culture is completely different from ours, and Muay Thai is maybe the number one sport in Thailand. I think it is. Like,
Yeah.
it opened my mind completely.
They the fighting there is full on stadiums full of
Yeah,
people, like football is here.
yeah, yeah, the same thing, but there, not as much people because the stadiums are are smaller, of course, but it's crazy. Like the way they live the fight game itself. It's yeah, it's in the USA, or if you go like yesterday or after before yesterday, I don't know. Joshua fought Ngannou in I think it's Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Completely full stadium, a lot of stars from everywhere around the world, different artists, actors, everything, and it's full. In Thailand, you just have the same thing. Since you are a guy fighting on your city, on your town, you have the full stadium, but maybe with 100 guys betting on you. If you go to professional level, being a very good fighter in Bangkok, you have a stadium with thousands of people watching, but not as much people as here on soccer. But because it's different, of course. But the 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 importance they give to fighting, to Muay Thai, is the same. Is the same you give to soccer here or football, as you
Yeah.
want to call it.
And you said that your interest started like your dad would bring back the DVDs
Yeah,
and you said MMA.
yeah, yeah. MMA,
Mainly.
MMA.
So
Yeah.
what made it? I mean, you did mention that you saw that the Thai and the kickbox
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
fighters were very strong, but why did that selection happen for you to be just pursuing that discipline instead of looking at an MMA career as well?
Simple. The gym closer to my home was a Muay Thai gym, and back then in Portugal, you didn't have. I don't know if you had maybe you had some MMA gyms, but not in Cascais. In Lisbon, I don't know, but before there was no YouTube, no social media, no nothing. So to and this even today, fighting sports are small in Portugal. Back then were really small, and to know some place where to train MMA, it was almost impossible. So I liked a lot Muay Thai fighters. I saw that in Dramatico, the gym, there was a Muay Thai coach, so I went there and trained. If it was an MMA coach, I would go there and train MMA. If it was some other fighting sport, maybe that I saw on MMA, but not only on MMA, because like I said, K1 Max was a really big fighting tournament back then, and the Muay Thai fighters like Wakao Purpuramuk back then was winning all the fighters from the all disciplines like kickboxing, boxing, karate, taekwondo that went there, because there it was only striking, standing up fighting, but like represented their discipline during the tournament. So a lot of guys from every discipline went there and fought each other, and Muay Thai was always winning. So I wanted to do MMA or Muay Thai or something, and because the gym was closer to my home, it was that.
And it's not a it's a violent sport. The fact that you're allowed to include elbows and that you use knees and there's the clinch, and it's different from somebody coming from karate where a lot of it is point based, right?
Yeah. No, okay, so I understand what you're saying. So, but it's violence is a concept that for me it's different from what you see inside the ring, no, or not a cage. It doesn't matter which fighting sport. For me, it's more violent. As a football player, you have your ball, and it's not allowed to kick the other guy. It's not allowed to punch your opponent, like in the soccer field. But you go there, this guy is running with the ball, and you go on his back. He doesn't see you, and you kick him, and you get him injured, like some knee goes out or break some bone or something. With those shoes, with I don't know how to say it in English, os pitons. Como é que se diz em inglês?
The studs on the shoe.
Yeah. And you get him injured, maybe he stops his career because of that injury. And for me, that is violence. This is not allowed to do. You do it because you want to. This guy is not ready for it because he's looking forward, and you get to kick him crazy way. You get to a ring. These guys that are inside the ring, they know what they're doing. They want to be there. Nobody is saying you have to go there or I kill you. No, they're there because they want to. They practice for that. Our instinct as human beings, of course, tells us that fighting is to the death. And even if you want to think a rational way of seeing fighting sports, if you're not used to see fighting sports and you don't understand, the first thing you think is, hey, these guys are killing each other. This is completely crazy. This is violent. But if you go and see soccer and the guy does that and kicks the other guy and gets him injured and he has to stop his career, it's normal. Violence is you doing something to the other guy that is supposedly not allowed. Even in society, if you go on the street and you punch a person and you try to rob him, that is violent. If two people train for years, they want to get to a ring and fight, it can be harsh for you, like, okay, this is tough, this is not the same as dancing or something, or playing football, but this is not violence, in my opinion. Maybe I'm not explaining properly because in English for me everything is a little bit difficult to explain, but I think it's understandable. Because one thing is two guys wanting to do this sport. If you see a fight, almost every fight, by the end of the fight, it doesn't matter who wins or who loses, they give a hug, they thank you for being there. If it's not for your opponent, there was no fight. You have to respect the other guy. Trash talk, blah 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 blah. Okay, it sells, and they do that because it sells, but they have respect for each other. When like it's almost a soap opera they do on UFC, but or UFC or other MMA things with the trash talking and everything. But they have respect for each other, and in almost every MMA fight or kickboxing or boxing fight, there is nobody doing faults like kicking the other guy in the balls because they want to, or they know they can't elbow like this, they don't elbow like this, or they try, maybe sometimes it happens, but they on purpose they don't do any faults. If you see football, every game there's a fault, every game there's a yellow card. It's normal. For me, that's arming someone that's not expecting to be armed. That is violence, not what happens in the ring. Yeah. Sorry for being maybe it's hard to understand, but for me speaking English is easy, but not that easy here. So sorry.
Yeah, no, you explained it well. I
Okay.
do understand, but there's for me as somebody who has only trained a little bit with you, but never gone up to a ring or
Yeah.
even thought about it. The thought of going into a ring, like, I understand that both people have signed up for it and both people want to be there and train for that, but it's still, were you scared when you started?
Like it's a good question, because it's not scared. Like I never felt afraid of my opponent. I just wanted so much to win, and I want so much to win, but I know that I can lose, and that's what makes you anxious. Maybe I think anxious maybe is the best word to describe what you feel, because you create some expectations. Because I think when you get to spend some time of your life working on a project, it doesn't matter which project it is, like here on your podcast or as an artist, maybe doing some music, and then you have a gig, well, you want it to go well. If I spent 20 years of my life practicing fighting sports, when I'm going to fight, I want it to go well. And that expectation creates some anxiety, like it's not being scared, but you get anxious. I never like I got injured a lot of times. You know, I broke my hand. I broke my face literally 3 times a year. I broke my both my legs, and before a fight, I never think about getting injured. I just think about getting there and winning the fight. But I know this can happen, and I know that I can lose, and that's creates some anxiety. It created before in my first fights, and creates it now. Of course, in my first fights, it was almost how can I say it in English? Overwhelming. Yeah, you were like, oh yeah, I'm going to fight, and I want to win, and everybody is expecting me to win, and I'm expecting to win, and I want it to go well, and knowing that it can go bad made me crazy anxious. After a while of fighting, you get used to the sensation, to the feeling of being anxious, and you know that it doesn't matter if you are more nervous or less nervous. You can win while really nervous and lose while really calm. It's one thing doesn't influence the other, so you can have really good results being really anxious before a fight, and maybe if you are too calm and too chill before a fight, you can get bad results, and the opposite can happen too. You just need to keep things controlled. Okay, today I'm anxious, but I can control my feeling, and with the experience of fighting, you get there. Even if I'm too chill before a fight, like too calm, I need to warm up, get alert. There's a fight 10, 15, 30 minutes from now. I need to get ready for it, focus. Both things happen, but afraid is not the
And
word.
no fear of because this is a sport where there are physical implications. Like you've been seriously hurt
Yeah,
before. You've had some pretty bad.
yeah, yeah.
um, so the fear I was speaking of is more of the person going into the ring. Your opponent is somebody who physically wants to hurt you.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously, you said
yeah,
you respect each other,
yeah.
but if he
fight is a
can knock
fight.
you out,
You will.
he
Yeah.
wants to, right? Uh, does that not? I guess you said that you don't think about getting hurt before, and that's probably a good thing.
Yeah.
That's what allows you, because if that's already on your mind
Yeah,
before
you-
getting in the ring, it's probably not a good idea.
Don't go. If I think I'm going to lose or I'm going to get hurt, I just no, I don't want to fight. Sorry, I go there because I want to win.
Yeah,
But the only thing before, I never thought about this as a kid or as a teenager or even in my first professional fights. Even with like 25 years old, I didn't thought about it, but now I start to think that brain damage maybe after some, when I get to 50, it can get some implications on my health. But there's guys that with Alzheimer, Parkinson, that never got it in the head, and there's some really good fighters, 70 years old, perfect. So of course it's not good to get it on the head, and it's the only thing that makes me be a little bit more afraid of the health implications, because like break arm, break this, you can physiotherapy, it's okay, just you get to 100% again. But on your head, getting it on your head, it's the brain cells that get killed doesn't recover, or at least they think that they don't recover. It's the only thing that makes me a little bit scared of how will I be as a older person. But I really, like I said, some guys, they've never got it on the head. They did some other crazy stuff, or maybe they didn't did crazy stuff, and they have Alzheimer and they have dementia. As a fighter, I know some other fighters with older guys that made 100 fights in Thailand. I know some old guys with 70 years, 80 years old, and they are completely healthy. So I want to believe that I'll be healthy when I'm old, but I don't know. As you don't know, as your brother doesn't know. I think it's the only thing that makes me scared about getting it on the head is that It's the only injury that makes me maybe this the probability of having some mental issues when you're older are bigger than compared to a normal person. But after that, I don't think about injuries.
Yeah, but living a life doing something that you enjoy and that's you're passionate about is makes everything else
Yeah,
worth it.
you do everything by the rules, by the thinking about the health issues. Then you have a motorbike accident or a car accident, or you get cancer and you die with 40 years old. If I die with 40, I traveled almost the whole world, know a lot of people from every type of culture, knew good people, bad people, had a lot of experiences, and did what I love to do. And I've been successful to a way, by not crazy famous, nothing like that, but I feel successful and I feel happy by doing it, and that's the most important thing.
Yeah, that's what drives you to keep going
Yeah,
and
yeah,
look
I
past.
like it, and I if I like it, and even though it, of course, you have to choose a lot of things. I like being with my friends. I like going out to dinner, and if I have fights, I'm on diet. I have a lot of restrictions. It Even with those restrictions, I really think it's like it's worth it. So if I think it's worth it, it's worth it. Like, just go. If one day I think, is it worth it? Is it not? If you start doubting it, that's the time when you have to think about, okay, maybe it's time to finish, because being a fighter and having doubts about it, it's the first sign of stop. If you go to the ring with doubts, it's
Bad
first,
sign.
yeah, first step to lose. Just don't go.
Yeah. It, so bringing it back a little bit, when you at 17 you trained hard, you went to the world championship, you won,
Yeah.
you come back. What you've decided this is what you want to do for your
Yeah.
life. How do you structure what that's going to look like? How do you decide how often you're going to train? What type of training you're going to do? What your diet is going to look like? Did you have people that were helping you with that? How did you decide that?
By then, like, it was really rudimentary. I had a coach, and he was the one that said, "Okay, you need to train like this." Okay, if he says that the way I have to train, I train like that. It's and how can I explain it? As an athlete, you have to know your role. Like, I have to do what my coach tells me to do. If my coach says do this, I have to do this. If I have doubts, I speak with my coach. If I think he's not doing a good work, I speak with him and maybe change coach. If I think it maybe, and as a fighter too, you have to think, because Portugal, like you said before, it's not a good country to be a athlete. It doesn't matter which sport it is, unless it's football. But if it's not football, it's hard place to be a athlete and go to a professional level. But I don't know why as a kid, because maybe because I saw a lot of fighters on there was already YouTube by 18, so in YouTube, and I search on the internet, they have nutritionists, they have physiotherapists working with them, they have a good coach, Muay Thai coach or boxing coach, and after they had conditioning training, like physical training coach. And if I want to be on that level, and the guys on that level are doing this, I will do it too. My coach said, okay, you have to train like this, but he's not a nutritionist. Sometimes he advised me on my diet, but even for him, he didn't do things properly. So, okay, if the guys from the highest level on the sport have a nutritionist, I'm going to search for one, and that's what I did. But as a Muay Thai athlete in training, I always did what my coaches said to do. Okay, train 2 times a day. I train 2 times a day. Okay, now you have to rest. Just train 1 time a day, or maybe 2 times a week. You train 2 times a day, but all the other days you just train one for recovering. So I did what they told me to, and I trust them. As soon as I saw that the work is not being, or the results are not what we wanted to, I spoke with them, and if after speaking with them the results continue to be bad, or I thought that training wise the schedule were not that good, I had to change, and I changed coaches sometimes along my way.
Yeah, you've had a few different coaches.
Yeah.
But did you always make weight
Yeah, always.
every time?
Yeah, never. Yeah, I always gave weight. Maybe I went to the weighing and give some 500 grams more, but I always lost it, and could lost it on time, because you have some after the official weighing. Maybe you have 1 hour. It depends on the organizations, but most of them as a professional is 1 hour you have to lose weight, and I could always do it. And maybe 90% of my official weightings I gave weight one time. In my last one, on my MMA fight, I didn't do it, but because the scale I had was not good compared to the scale of the official scale, so I made a mistake of not like picking up a weight and putting in my scale to see if the scale was properly
Calibrated.
yeah, calibrated. That's a word, and it was 700 grams less. So when I went to the official weighing, I gave more 500 grams, but I lost it in 20 minutes and gave weight.
20 minutes to lose 500
Yeah,
grams.
because I had because I always take to the weightings, even if I think I'm going to make weight, because I have a lot of experience, like 90 plus fights, so I know that sometimes the scales are different. These things happen. I always get to the official weighing with my sauna suit on my bag and everything. I have it. Okay, if I need to lose, I have the equipment to do it. So in 20 minutes, I lost my 500 grams and gave weight, no problem.
Were you so obviously you've been at this for a long time.
Yeah.
Were you more extreme in the beginning with your diet while you were learning to figure out how your body works and what you need to do, and now you have it more in tune? Or?
Yeah, I did some completely crazy stuff when I was a kid, and before I had a nutritionist, I did a lot of things that I shouldn't. But I don't know. It was maybe about 90 years old or 20 that I got a nutritionist. Can I drink water? Sorry.
Yeah. Lots of water. Important part of nutrition.
So, as the first time I worked with a nutritionist was about I had like 19. So after that, he always told me, okay, this is your plan to lose weight, and if you have to dehydrate a little bit, like lose some weight in water, this is the maximum you can lose. So I always did it like that. Before having a nutritionist, I did some crazy stuff like putting a sauna suit, like Thai oil to warm up oil, then a sauna suit, do some shadow boxing, start sweating, then go to the sauna for 30 minutes in a row, and losing about 4 kilos and 5 kilos. It's completely
In
crazy.
how long?
Yeah, in 30 minutes about it. 30, 40
In
minutes.
30 minutes?
Yeah, but it's really dangerous for you. Really dangerous for your health. So after 19, then I started working with my nutritionist. I stopped doing those crazy stuff. Of course, there was sometimes I had to lose weight in a more extreme way because I did some lower weight classes while fighting. Like normally I walk around with 85 kilos, and I fought on 72 kilos until I almost always fought on 75 kilos, but there was some big competitions that were 72, and they asked me to go there, and we said yes. So I had to lose from 85 to 72 kilos, and I could get by dieting until 77, but my body would like say no, you can don't lose anymore. So even if I stopped eating, I would not go and you can't stop eating because you have to train morning and afternoon, so it's crazy. But my body wouldn't lose more weight, so I had to lose in water from 77 to 72. It's 5 kilos, and that was the last time I did it was in 2018, and we said no more 72 kilos, finish, this is the last fight on 72 kilos. So and that was the same way, like going to the steam bath, like with the sauna suit or even without sauna suit, and in about put that highest level of temperature and try to lose by sweating, not moving because you're completely tired and almost dead, and lose weight in water. But that's the worst way to lose weight.
Yeah, because it's gonna affect your training and the quality of your fight
E-
if you're losing
Everything.
so much weight
Yeah,
in
yeah.
such a short amount of time.
Nowadays, I always prefer to do a higher weight class than a lower one, and don't lose that. Like in MMA, the biggest organizations, they have 70 kilos or 77. In Muay Thai, you have 70 kilos, 72, yeah, 75, 77, and I always fought on 75. And I think even nowadays it's the best weight category for me. But because in MMA, the biggest organizations just have 77, I go to 77. And if I had to choose, let's say 77 was not a weight class. You had to choose in between 70 and 84. Normally, I walk around with 85. So doing 84 is really risky because these guys lose weight and maybe on the day of the fight they have 90 plus kilos. But I would prefer doing 84 than going to 70 because I have experience fighting. Of course, MMA is a different sport, but let's say in Muay Thai I have experience, and I prefer to feel okay. I feel strong. I have my head is good. I'm focused. I have everything, and I'm confident because my training went well, and how I felt on training was good, and I feel really strong going into this fight. If I lose until 70 kilos, training will be like torture because you don't have any type of energy. You're completely dead before training. You need to train 2 times a day, so you will lose confidence because every time if I go to training and training is not going that well, you start to think, oh, if this is not going well on training, how can it go well on fighting? And then you lose the weight to fight, and then you go to the weighting, and then you have 30 hours or 24 hours because it's 32 hours in MMA until the fight. Even if you recover, you cannot recover 100%. So when you go to the fight 10 minutes before, you think, okay, my body doesn't feel strong. My head, maybe I feel a little bit dizzy because I dehydrated too much. Training was not that good because I didn't feel strong on training. It's hard to and when you go inside with doubts, like I said before, it's easier to lose than you need. So nowadays, if I have to choose in between not losing too much weight and fighting with bigger guys, I always choose to fight with bigger guys than fight with the same height or same weight class but losing too much weight.
So, do you think that's something that's changing in the sport in general? Is this just something that you've decided?
No, I think it's not changing. I
No.
think it's going worse now.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. You have only one big organization, it's one championship that makes dehydration tests before the weight class, the weighting. They say, okay, you can dehydrate until this amount. Then you weigh in, you do your P to a cup, and they see if you are too much dehydrated or not. And if you are too much, you need to give weight in an hour, but being hydrated. If you can't, then you have maybe you lose a percentage of your purse, and maybe the other fighter can say that it doesn't want to fight. But it's only one. If you go to the UFC or Bellator or PFL, they all lose crazy amount of weight, and the organizations just don't give a fuck about it because if they go to the ring and do a good fight and it's good for the public and it sells, it doesn't matter. It's their health, it's not mine. I just win money with them, so they don't.
But
they
do you
don't
think
fight.
that the advantage that they gain is bigger by doing that than if they stuck to a closer weight to what they walk around at?
Like talking about this, I'm going to be. I have to talk of related topic, but it's really important to say it because it's doping wise. Most of these guys, all of them, not all, but maybe 99% of them are doped. They can lose 10 15 kilos in water, and next day they have more those 10 and 15 kilos that they lost in water, and they feel perfect because they have doctors with them. They are doped with testosterone, growth hormone, everything you can imagine.
Even with all of the testing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The testing is, there's a big business. Like I don't know, but I maybe billions of dollars on these like escaping tests being tested. Everyone wins money with that. So if you see cycling is the most tested sport in all the world. Like you go to Tour de France, is all those guys are tested every day, and all of them are doped. Yeah, all of them. There's the if you see the Tour de France, it's impossible by a human being to do that on those times. All of them are doped. The last guy that goes to the from the beginning to the end of the competition, but it can get to the end. If he got to the end, he has to be doped by some way. Even if it's a low thing, he has to be doped.
Because it's so physically
Yeah,
demanding.
it's almost impossible. Maybe some guy that forfeit during the competition, maybe he wasn't, but the guy that started and went to the end of the Tour de France and got on the last place on the Tour de France, I don't put my hands on fire like we say in Portugal, but probably is doped. Most of the fighters you see in big competitions are doped. It doesn't matter which organization. Most of them. I will not say everyone, but most of them are. And these guys can lose crazy amounts of weight and recover in 24 hours and feel strong enough to go to a fight. So they prefer to lose more weight because it's an advantage. And because everybody does that, they know that they can't go to the higher weight class. Like let's say if I walk around with 85 kilos and I can lose because I'm doped until 70, and in the day of the fight I'm 85 kilos again, I cannot do 84 kilos. That's the closer weight class, because the guy that gives 84 kilos on this weight class next day will be 90 or almost 100 kilos. So if I walk around with 85 and I lose and I give 1 kilo and I do 24, next day I'll be 85 again, and this guy has more 10 or 15 kilos than I. So everybody does that. I never did nothing like that because I never put doping. I'm test sometimes. Since 2017, I never been tested in doping, but by my way of being in life and as a sportsman, I don't want to do it. I have a lot of friends that do it, and I understand why they do it, but I don't want to. It's a matter of personal matter. So I just want to fight, and there's the other thing that makes me think about doping in these fighting sports, because if I don't know, others like an Olympic sports from running, like 100, sprinting 100 meters, I don't. If I'm doped and I win, I don't put the life of the other guys in danger. If I'm fighting you and you're not doped or not as doped as me, I can kick you in the head and kill you. Even if both of us are not doped, I can be strong enough to kill you in a fight. Sometimes those things happen. If I'm doped, the probability of something bad happening is way bigger. So that makes me think, if I kill a guy fighting because I'm not doped, I will say, okay, shit happens. This is improbable, but this can happen. If I'm doped, I will think, okay, fuck, maybe I killed this guy because I'm not a normal human. I'm a superhuman because I have crazy amount of testosterone and growth hormone levels and everything. And maybe this guy is not as doped as me. Or even if he is, we are fighting like... If fighting is dangerous, this is way more dangerous. So I think you should not do it if you are a fighter, because you put the life of your opponent in direct danger.
And the difference is that big when you're doping.
Yeah, I think so. I never felt it, but everybody that trained with me that did it, they say it's like putting a cheat code on GTA and getting almost invincible. Something crazy. It's really, really... They think everything changes. The way you recover, the amount of power you have on training. They say everything. You get to like superhuman powers. It's almost like that. And if you see on the internet, most of like before some months ago, the USADA, I don't know if they say USADA in English too.
Yes.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
USADA stopped being with the UFC, and until January they were looking, and some people thought they would not have anti-doping testing. And Gordon Ryan, the guy from Jiu Jitsu, like number one, came to say, I think this is more fair to all the fighters if it's free, everybody can get doped, because nowadays with testing, the guys that are getting tested, but they have good amount of money to pay the good doctors, they can get away from testing that. They get tested, but they pass through because the doctors that work with them they know how the game works. They know what to give them, how to give them. The fighters that are beginning on the UFC but don't have the money to pay to this type of doctors, they go get caught because the doctors say, put this, put that. They get doped too, but they will get positive on testing. So it will be fairer to. So it's free. Everybody puts doping there. It's easier if you get it like everybody can do it. It's gets to I don't know how to say fairer.
Yeah, it's more level.
Yeah, it's more level than this guy. Everybody getting tested. Everybody puts doping, but these guys will get caught, and these guys do the same thing or even worse and don't get caught just because they have the doctors that know how to do it.
Do you think that's a good idea?
No. I think that people should have como é que se diz caráter?
Character.
Yeah, they should have good character, and as a fighter, knowing that you put the other guy in danger, even if it's a fair fight, you can put the life of your opponent in danger. You should not do it.
Yeah, but how do you get around the fact of what Gordon Ryan says and what you were just saying, that the people with more money are going to be able to get around it, and the people starting off are going to suffer for it?
Yeah, you don't get around it. You just have to go, and if you lose, you lose, and if you win, you win, and if you can get there, like maybe this goes along with the thing that we talked before start wrecking the podcast, that if you sell, like if you go in trash talk and do this, you can get money even if you are not that good as a fighter, but you do some crazy shit on the press conference and people start to following you on Instagram and things like that, you can get money, and with that money you can pay to a good doctor. So they have to find a way to get enough money so they can go to those type of doctors. But I really believe that you have maybe 5% of the guys on UFC or 10% maximum that don't get doped. But it's a small amount. Yeah. Most of them get.
Yeah. And then it makes a big difference when you go in the ring.
Yeah. Like since I got to a high level of kickboxing and Muay Thai fights, maybe my first big fight was in 2004, 20 years ago. I knew that 90% of the guys that I will fight from there that day on Ford were doped. I don't want to get doped. I will not get doped, but I know that these guys are, and I don't use it as an excuse. If I lose, I lose. If I won, I won. I accepted to fight these guys, and nobody said you have to fight these guys. No, I fight them because I want to. So it's not an excuse. I don't. If I wanted to get doping, I could, but I don't want to. So I don't use it as an excuse. I just go there and fight, and it's how the game works. You just have to accept it like it is and do your stuff. Lose some, win some, and go there.
Yeah, we were talking about this earlier again, but now the idea in especially westernized sports of never losing, and always like if you lose, then no, you can't be the best anymore. That obviously plays a lot into these people's considerations for doing everything that they can.
Of course.
And
that's one of the problems, because you think not everybody thinks like that, but the big organizations, they want superhumans. They say, okay, if these guys can fight as humans, not doped, and they know they can lose, that they will stay here in this competition, it's one thing. Maybe the show they will give doesn't sell that much. But if they can get doped and I have two superhumans fighting, and one of them or both of them know they can't lose. If they lose, they go out. If they lose the respect they have, they really goes down. The way they fight is completely different. They fight until death. They don't want to lose. They do everything. If it doesn't matter if it's cheating or not, they will do everything to win. And it sells. What can I say? In the westernized sport, it sells. If you go to Asia, it's different. Even in Asia, these type of things start to sell now because maybe globalization. But the way they look at athletes is different from comparing, let's say, Japan to the USA. It's different, and the market of fighting there and winning money there, it's different. Even the trash talking and everything is completely different in the Asia compared to the USA or Europe. But what can I say? People want money and it sells, and you can get more money doing those type of things. That's what I think.
In Thailand, do you think the Thai fighters use a lot of doping as well?
All of them.
Yeah.
In Thailand is crazy, completely crazy. If you train in Thailand in a like good good training camp, and you start getting sick or something because you like jet lagged, and you can say the first thing they say, oh, you want to go to the doctor, medicine, we put medicine for them is get a shot of maybe testosterone or something, and feel like superhuman next day. But all of them, the bigger fighters, all of them do it. It's when I say all of them, it's not, maybe not all, but like I said, 90% maybe, because I don't want to speak about this because it's como é que se diz sensível? Sensitive topic about the fighting sports or sports in general, but people have to think about have to talk about this openly. If not, even for the guys that only watch sports, they don't know the reality of sports. And this is a part of reality on the sports game. It doesn't matter which type of sports. So I speak about this openly, but I'm easy with this topic because I never did nothing wrong. But maybe some other guys don't like to talk about this. But I think you should talk about it.
Yeah.
And nowadays, even the guys that put doping speak more openly about it. Some of them, of course, like Gordon Ryan is a good example of that. And
he speaks openly about
using
it.
Yeah. He really says, because in jiu-jitsu it's normal. Everybody,
and there's no anti-doping.
Yeah. Most of these guys, all of them, there's no anti-doping, so it's natural. Like it's normal. Everybody does it. And he said the level of competition and technically wise and everything, it's better. All of these guys are better athletes, doped than not doped. Why shouldn't you allow it to do it? It's a way of seeing sports different than what I think. But one thing is true: if you are a military guy and you go to a war, first thing you get is doping. All these guys get testosterone since Soviet Union, since World War One, methamphetamines, everything, so they get superhuman powers while fighting. Fighters want to fight. If it sells more, they want money too. If putting doping is better, they put doping.
Yeah. But then, because doping can also have serious health consequences for yourself.
Yeah.
And if you open it up to just say do whatever you want, you're going to have people dying just from the doping.
Some of the one of the problems is if you get to a high level competition, you have doctors with you that can, even if you are not that good, they can tell you, okay, you can go until here. This is the limit. But that's why you see most of these kids on gyms nowadays that put this type of shits, and then they have a lot of health problems. They are 30 years old and they already have heart problems, fertility problems, a lot of other types of problems that can get from here. But even Gordon Ryan said on the internet some time ago, when they talked about this of UFC didn't have any deal with the USADA anymore, and he said, as an athlete, you need to know until what's your limit. Okay, I go until here, but I don't pass through this. If you know that everybody puts doping, if you are not, if you don't have the courage to put doping to or put it to this level, you will not be that good. Eh, but if you really want it, you have to put it. It's crazy. That's why, like, this is one of the things that makes me feel happy about my career as a fighter. It's because I fought all of these guys on different sport. Of course, kickboxing, Muay Thai is different, but most of these guys were doped, and I could fight them, win some, lose some, but I always did good fights with these guys, and got respected all over the world in this sport, and never did nothing like this. So, like, never put doping, never nothing. Just trained, eat well, slept, trained, eat well, slept, go to fight. This was my life, and doing the things I did and the way I did it makes me feel happy.
Yeah. It's down to your work.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like shit codes or something. If I won some, even the fights I lost, if I won them but putting doping, I would think about, okay, I won because I shit. If if I didn't did put doping or something, I would lose. That's, and because I won most of them, not doing some I lost, but even the ones that I lost, I can think, okay, I lost, I need to train more, I need to do this. It's not like, okay, I lost, I need to get a better doctor or better doping something, or so
Yeah.
fuck it, I just want to train. And I really think about my life after being an athlete too. Like I said, okay, when my fighting life stops and I want to be a coach or something, how my health is. My brain cells, like I thought, is one of the things that make me feel maybe a little bit more apprehensive. But doping wise, I never put nothing, so I feel I can do everything I want.
And you're 32?
33,
33 now.
Yeah.
So that was 16 years ago that you won the
Yeah,
first
the
gold
first,
medal
yeah,
at 17 in Thailand.
Yeah.
That's a long time to
Yeah.
eat, to sleep early,
Yeah.
train.
You have to love it.
That's
Yeah.
one hell of a love.
Yeah, but you have to. If you like, it's something you feel is just I really can't explain better than that. Is I'm a guy that I'm lucky to be a person that, okay, if I want this, I have the will strength to do it. Oh, the willpower, it's I would say I have the willpower to do it. Most of guys, they say I want this, but half the way until then they stop. And I don't know why, but I have this advantage. Willpower is an advantage compared to almost everyone else. I think society nowadays, if you try this and it doesn't go well on the first try, you stop. You change to other thing. Then you try that and it doesn't work well on the first try or second, you stop. And like, I tried a lot of times, it went well most of them, but went really wrong on some, but I kept going. Like, the first time I broke my shin bone was with 19 years old. 1 year to recover. Maybe most of the kids with that age would stop fighting. And as soon as I broke my shin bone, I said, okay, as soon as I can, I'll be inside the ring again. And I did it. Why? Because I had the willpower. And maybe willpower is something you can't train. It's I think you can train, but fighting wise, like specifically on fighting sports, it's different. On your life, you can, because it depends on the thing that you want to do, if you love it. But if you like a lot of if you love fighting, but you don't have the willpower to get through injuries, to get to losses, to get to losing some friends along the way, because they don't understand that you can't go out, or on their birthday you can't be present because you have to train or something. If you think that it's not worth it, you can't be a fighter. You have to have the willpower to go through everything of these things and get to your objective.
Where do you think this willpower comes from? Do you think it was something you were born with? Do you think it was something that they educated you to have? Do you think it's something that people can work on building?
Yeah, like that. that question makes me think of a lot of things that I can't explain because, like, do you have a soul? Like, if you have a soul, maybe it came from my soul from the heavens or something. But I don't know if I believe this. So rationally, maybe I think maybe it's my in my genetic code. My father is a guy with willpower. My mother too. So it passed through me. Maybe it's from education. Maybe it's that my parents gave it to me. Maybe it's from the people that I had closer to me while I was a kid and saw that they have willpower and you have to get through some hard stuff to get to your objective. You can have a lot of different ways of looking at this. Maybe it's from me. Maybe I'm born with it. I have willpower. I can go through. But if I start thinking, okay, I have willpower to do what? To do fight. Because to study, fuck, on school I was really, really bad. So if I have willpower to one thing and I don't have willpower to other thing, do I have willpower? Is this a characteristic of me, or is it because I discovered something I loved and I really want to do it? So I think you just have to find your passion, and of course education maybe, or the influences you have around you play a big role on this. Like knowing since a kid that things are not that easy. If you have to, if it is easy, it's not worth that much. If you do something that it's really easy to do, that everybody can do it, it's not worth. Like you can feel happy about it, but you do it, the other guy do it, 1 million persons do it, 1 billion. You see, the things that worth more are the harder things to do, the hardest things to do. So you have to go through hard times to get to your objectives, and that is a thing maybe that you learn while a kid, and it gets in your character while growing up. But I think it's not a characteristic that borns with you. I think because if, like I said, if willpower is a characteristic that you have inside you, you can do everything. Even though the thing that you really don't like to do, you do it. But I didn't like to study, and I didn't study. I didn't have the willpower to study, but I have it to do training sessions that I don't like, because every day I go to the gym, morning and afternoon. Some type of trainings I love, some type of trainings I hate. Like physical conditioning trainings, I don't like that much, but I do it every week. Why? Because I know I have to go through these hard things to get to my objective, but it's fighting wise. So I think you can train it, but you have to have a good like really to have willpower to do something. You have to, or you have to be motivated to do that because of some other thing. You have, like, say, you have kids, you have a daughter and a son, and you have to put dinner and breakfast and everything on their table. You don't like your work, but you will work on that type of job because it pays well, and your objective is to put food on your table to your kids. You get motivated by that. You feel happy, not that happy, but you do it. You have the willpower to do it because you know your objective is worth it. If you find a thing that you think it's worth it to grow to through hard times to do it, you can do it.
It comes from having a good reason to do
it.
it.
Yeah, I think it's that for everybody. The problem nowadays in society is it's that people doesn't find that easily the reason to do it. They don't know, why will I do that? Oh, it doesn't pay that much. I know I like to do this, but I will not do it because it's not a respected job. Okay, I like to do this, and these guys don't pay, so I don't go. These guys pay really well, but I hate this job. I go there. If the reason is money, sometimes it doesn't work, because money comes and goes, and you can do something you don't like and win a lot of money, and 10 years after you are depressed as fuck, and you have to take medication because you go to a psychiatrist and he says, okay, you are depressed because you've been doing a thing that you hate to do, and stressful thing and everything, and your work colleagues are bad persons, or and so money sometimes, I think it's not the best reason to do something. But getting money to put table on your food on your table to your kids, it's a good reason. I think it's I don't speak that much of English, but I think it's understandable what I'm saying.
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. You've trained with a lot of different people all
Yeah.
around the world. You've known a lot of different people. Have you seen anybody change that drastically where they were not disciplined, they didn't have good willpower, but the reason came to them and they were able to become something that they weren't before?
No. Fuck. No. Yeah. 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 Most of them that are not disciplined, that they don't have the reason to do something, they don't change. But I really think they don't change because they don't like that much fighting sports. Because I think if they find their passion, they have the reason. The reason is what, I don't know, like crazy thing, but you can say this with relationships with your partner. Like, this girl is beautiful, treats you well, and you are with her, but you don't love her. After a while, fuck, why this girl is beautiful? She has everything, but I don't feel this. It's about feelings. The same thing with your job. If you love it, maybe even if this thing doesn't pay well, let's say doing music in Portugal, it doesn't pay well. Yeah, your brother knows that. But you love to do music, so you will find a way, and you have here a good example of that, Alex. You will find a way to live with it and get money with it, and the same thing as being an athlete. Being an athlete in Portugal is it's almost impossible. But it's almost impossible for people that are not athletes. All the other guys that are athletes, it's possible for them. Why? Because most of them train morning and afternoon, but have a normal work. They go to 6 o'clock, they are in the gym to train. 8 o'clock, they are maybe working in Pingo Doce or some shit. After 7 o'clock in the evening, they go to the gym again. And this is their routine. They found a way to be an athlete and live in Portugal. Your brother found a way to be a music artist and live in Portugal. I found a way to, if you love it, you will find a way to do it. I think so, but you have to have the willpower, and to have that willpower, you have to have a reason, and sometimes the reason is love. And if it's love, it's worth it, always. I think it's like that.
Powerful words.
Yeah. But now I could explain myself properly now. But I think this makes sense.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a rational thing. Sometimes it has, but if you see the example I gave about your kids and putting food on the table, it's about love. Yeah, you love your kids. You want the best for them. So you just need to know that, okay, I love these kids. I want to put food on the table. I have to have this job that I don't like to put food on the table. It's worth it. Let's go. Love again. So I think that's the right word for it.
When the day comes that you eventually stop fighting, one day you're going to retire, do you think that will change? Like, for example, obviously you won't need to be as disciplined as you are now, but do you think a lot of that willpower will go away, or will it be reapplied to other things that you do? Because you said this about fighting, but I've seen you be this disciplined and hardworking at other things that were not related to fighting in any way.
Yeah. Now that you're saying that, I think I'm lucky enough to have found some other things that I really love to do too. Fighting is undoubtedly the thing that I love the most. But I have some, I do rap music too, and I really like it, and I can do it until 80 years old. I like to do podcasts too, and I have some other things that I want to help other people. So being a coach will be good for me, because I even the way that I want to be a coach is different from the traditional way of being a coach. But I think being a coach and helping other fighters to get to their objectives is a thing that I will love to do too. It's with my experience, I think I will do it really, really well. Because I have experience in fighting, and being close to these kids that they want to get to my level or even past my level, and I can help them getting there, making them get there will make me happy too. So I think that willpower will go to other stuff because I know some other stuff that I like to do and I love to do it too. I think it's more about that. But if we think in general, in all people we know, there are people with more willpower and less willpower too, uh, and not just because they have the passion to do something or not. It's they have to train it. And but the first thing of training with our willpower is understanding that it's not going to be easy. Nothing is easy. If you don't have to do nothing, if you are a millionaire or billionaire and you have all the money in the world, but you don't you don't have to work, you don't have to do nothing, will you be happy just sitting here and seeing time go by? No, you have to do something that you like to do. What you like to do? Go to the beach? Okay, you can go to the beach, but after a while, going to the beach is fuck every day on the beach, same thing. Just you have to find something you like to do, and so that's why I said it's not about money. It's about the having the willpower to go through hard times and understanding that everything is not going to be easy. Just living is not that easy. If you get to 80 years old, you've passed through a lot of hard times, and you passed through them because you had the willpower to go. If you didn't, you maybe shot yourself or some crazy stuff. And understanding that even if you love something, you have to go through hard times to do it is the first step of training your willpower. I think it's that. So it's a characteristic that some people have more trained than the other, but you can train it. Just on fighting in specifically, or sports in specifically, it works a different way. Because if you don't love that, you have to love sports and have to. It's like fighting more than the other sports. I think fighting sports have specifically you need to have specific characteristics to be a good fighter, mentally and physically. More mentally than physically, but and that thing of willpower, it's hard to train to be a fighter. To be a normal person and go through your hard times in life, it's easier. But I think it's that.
So you definitely believe that doing hard things is important.
Yeah, it's the most
for
important
all of
thing.
us.
Yeah. And that's what, if you like maybe I didn't explain myself properly, but if since a kid you have to go through hard things don't have to be like punishments or something, but maybe you understand since a kid that you have to go, this is hard to do, but if you do it you will be rewarded in the end. And maybe I love to train, but I don't love to. In the next day I want to go up my stairs to my room and my legs ache as fuck. I want to sit on the chair, and I like the training, but I don't like the reward I got. But the reward is not only the pain that I have on my body. The reward will be given to me maybe 1 month or 2 months after, when I go to a fight and I win. And that is something that you have to learn. It's easier, not you have to, but it's easier for the kids that learn since the beginning of their lives that hard times will get you bigger rewards than don't doing nothing. That trains your willpower, I think. So you can train it, but when you are a kid, it's your mind works differently from when you are an adult. So maybe if in smaller ages it's easier for them to understand that, and when you get to adult, to work with willpower even when you don't like the things that much.
Yeah, and it's, you've known me for a very long time. I've always had problems with my weight and controlling my weight. So for a very long time I was severely overweight, and then now more as an adult I've been able to lose some weight, then I gained some weight again. Now I've lost more weight again. And so for a long time, when growing up until I was basically 25, I never lost weight. I just gained and gained and gained and gained. It was always said to me, "Oh, you don't have the willpower. You don't have the motivation." And I can't say exactly what it was that happened. I don't know, but something happened that allowed me to get into a more positive cycle, let's say.
In your sorry to
Yeah.
to interrupt, but I think that when you are a kid and or teenage, you don't understand life the same way as an adult, and maybe you didn't understand the consequences of being an overweight as a kid. And when you got to adult age, you understood like, okay, this has implications in my health, in my social life, in everything around me, and I want to change. And that got you the willpower to change. And you, some people can't do it, but you could, because you are disciplined. Not only because you want to do it, you were disciplined enough to do it more than once. And that is like loving to do something, but not being disciplined to do it will make you do it for a week. If you are disciplined to do it, you will do it for your whole life. It's not like a now objective; it's a future objective, and you were disciplined to do it. And I think the reason the willpower came from you understanding the bad consequences of being an overweight as an adult. Because as a kid we live life in a different way. We don't understand the world, or our world, because it's different. It's not maybe saying that as a kid you don't understand the world as it is. No, because the kid's world is different from the teenage worlds and from our world as an adult. And when you got to the adult world, you understood the real consequences of being an overweight, and that gave you the willpower to do what you wanted to do.
But it wasn't even a rational perception
just felt
of
it.
the consequences. What I distinctly remember is how tired I was of feeling the way that I did. I didn't enjoy feeling that way. I didn't enjoy being tired, feeling like shit, not having the same sort of social life or romantic life that
Yeah.
most other people that were my age did have. In a certain way, obviously I don't want to paint it as a really negative thing, but in a small way ostracized from
Yeah.
what regular life is for most people. And feeling like I'd been doing the same thing for so long and just going further and further into a direction that I didn't enjoy. And it got to a point where it's like, I have to change something. But because you're just talking about discipline, I don't think anybody would have ever characterized me as a disciplined person before that.
But because you like, was I a disciplined guy in school? Fuck no. But I'm in sports. Maybe if you put me in doing some other thing, will I be disciplined? No, because I don't have the reason to do it. That we come back to the same conversation. In that area, I have to say you were disciplined, and you are. It's true in that specific area. Maybe if you tell me in school were you disciplined? No, as me, I know because I were in school with you. So it always depends on the reasons you have it. You have to do it, and you even if you say it's not a rational thing, you felt that you don't like the way I'm feeling. For a long time, I've been doing things this way, and I keep feeling worse because the days go by, and I don't feel better. I feel worse, so I have to change something, and this will be hard, well, yeah, really hard, but I will do it because I know the reward in the end will be worth it, and here you are.
Yeah.
So you were disciplined.
Yeah.
It's not a question of maybe you were, maybe you were not. No, you were. If you weren't, you wouldn't be the way you are today.
Yeah. It gets, so I get into this positive cycle of doing all of the things that I should be doing, of doing the diet that I should, of doing the exercise, and it brings a feeling that I hadn't experienced before of how good you can feel. And it's something that I tell people about that haven't done it yet, and it's not something they can relate to if they haven't felt it before. But once you get to that point, it's sort of like, okay, I get to a point where now I'm healthy, now I'm in good shape, now I eat a good diet, and there's no longer let's say that the reason beforehand had
Yeah.
been I didn't want to feel bad anymore.
Yeah.
But now the feeling good is just the new normal.
Yeah.
And then it's really easy, like I did, to slip back into old
Yeah,
habits, to go back into
Yeah.
what I was doing before, and to lose a lot of the progress that I had done, to the point where it happened again, where I was like, oh, I am again in a place
Yeah.
that I don't want to be, feeling a way that I don't want to feel.
Yeah.
But the second time, like you saw, it was already very different
Yeah.
when you were a part of the challenge that I did
Yeah. Yeah.
this last summer, and you saw how much more disciplined I was and how much more focus I had. And
Yeah.
no, this is happening. There's no question in
Because
my mind.
after going through that one time and two times and three times, you know how it works.
Yeah.
And you know it's worth it because I've been there before and I know it's like fighting. It's the same thing as an athlete. The first time you fight, if is it worth it, is it not? After the end of the fight, the way you feel, it doesn't matter if you win or lose. The way you feel, you understand. Okay, do I like this or I don't like this? Okay, I love this. Okay, I want to go again. I want to go again. I want to go again. And every time it gets harder because fights go, the level goes up. Your opponents are different, but you want to do it. And then you had your first fight. It went well. You knew the feeling now. Okay, when you get out of shape, you understood. Okay, I have to do this again. Keeping there is the hard thing. Like
Yeah.
being getting to the high level of sports and being there 1 year, it's easy. Being there 10, it's fucking hard because you have to be consistent for a lifetime, not for 1 day, 2 days, 1 month, 1 year, 2 years. It's 10 or 15 years, and that's what makes the difference. Because the feeling you have, like I won a fight 2 weeks ago, and the feeling I had for 3 days is amazing, but the feeling goes away. If I'm just stuck to that feeling, I start, okay, maybe I don't go to train today, maybe blah blah. But I know because I've passed through this a lot of times that I have to be consistent and keep the discipline. The discipline I had to get here. If I want to keep or getting more objectives done, I have to be consistent and have the same discipline, and that's the same thing for you. Now, keeping the way you are, it's the hardest part of the job, but I know you can. You just have to focus on that and know that you don't want to be on that place again. If I lose a fight, I know the feeling after I lose a fight. I don't want to get there again. I want to win, and I know it's possible to get there again, even if I do everything properly. But I'll do everything on my como é que dizes?
In your power.
Yeah, I will do everything on my power to don't, so the probability is on my side that doesn't happen again, and that's what you have to do. And it's hard as fuck, but it's like, okay, no, keeping there because I don't want to go back to where I was. Keep there.
Yeah. And it makes a huge difference having people around you. Like you were a huge help to me this last summer when I was doing this challenge. I was coming to you, we were training once a week,
Yeah.
but you saw, we spoke about
Yeah.
this many times. A lot of our trainings were mostly just us talking
Yeah, but
and us going through ideas and debating different things that I was doing, how I was doing, and things that I was going through in my personal life. And that does make a huge difference.
Yeah.
The fact that I was holding myself accountable by making videos, by showing everybody, by telling them this is
Yeah.
my objective, this is what I want to do, that also helped. But having people around me who were not only supportive but also very wise and experienced in doing hard things made a big difference to me.
it's good to know that I was an example for you, but you should be your own example because you've been there. You did it by yourself. We helped you, but
Not by myself.
No. But it was like I can say the same thing in my fights. I had a lot of people around me that helped me. My MMA coach, my jiu-jitsu coach, my Muay Thai coach, my friends, my girlfriend that every time I got home had done the dinner by my diet. A lot of people, like, so my winning my last fight was not just for me, for a lot of that victory was a little bit from them too, but mostly it was mine. Maybe it was 80% mine and the other 20% was divided by all those people. The same thing with you. So you did it. We helped you. We were like, go. This is the way to do it. But you did it. So you are accountable for your own victory. And that's important for you to understand.
Also
That's
responsible for my loss if it happens.
yeah. But you don't want to lose. And if you lose, because it can happen by something, you have to have the probability on your side. So you have to be okay. This happened, but not because of my fault. In your this as a fighter, it's easy for that one to do. But let's hope not. But you have a health problem and you get to a bed and you cannot do diet. You get overweight again. But it's not your fault. It's something outside of your options. But your options make the probability of getting overweight again lower. You have a good diet. If you want to have an healthy lifestyle, doing sports too, you have to do a lot of other things that makes the probability of getting overweight lower. The only probability of getting overweight again is not by your options, it's by some external things that can happen to you. Even I can get overweight. Like I said before, I have a car accident. I stopped doing exercise because of something. I have maybe some hormonal problem that I have. It can happen, but it's not my fault. It's something outside of me that made me that.
Mm.
So you are accountable for your losses, but for your victories too. So you have to think about it. It was you that did it. You were disciplined enough to do it. Of course, it's easier if you have people around you that help you getting there, but it's you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, it does. It makes sense.
Now, keeping there, it's the hardest thing to do, but I know you can because, like, everybody gets unmotivated in some point. Like, oh, it's not, but how if I do just this, it will not affect that much. But even if you step outside of that line one or two times, it's not a problem. It's like if most steps are inside what you know it's good, it's not because you took one day you weighed something you shouldn't, or 2 or 3 days you did it. No, but after that you come back to the regime again, and that's keeping consistently there. It's most of the steps being inside those lines, not outside.
Yeah.
Not,
For someone looking from the outside, not I know you
Yeah.
personally, but for people who don't know you so well and just look at somebody like you as well, it's easy to think, oh, Diogo is always motivated.
no,
He
fuck it. Of course not. Era bom.
So that's not true.
No, of course not. Fuck. I did a video to Instagram like some months ago on summer. 30 something degrees. I don't know, 32 or 34. Hot as hell. These guys in MMA like to train like midday. The hottest hour in the day. We went to the gym like it's in the basement, the gym, so it's about 40 degrees in the gym, like completely crazy. 10 guys working out, punching each other. Fuck, when I was walking to the gym, I thought, why am I here? All my body aches like this was a Friday. Since Monday I did that week on Monday I did a physical conditioning training that made me sore on all my body. Like Tuesday when I woke up, fuck, am I dead? No, I'm not dead because all my body hurts, and if I feel it, I'm not dead. But the whole week was really, really hard. Friday training is always an intense type of training. My body hurted, 30 plus degrees. Like it was August or July. Everybody was on the beach, drinking, smoking joints, having fun, and I was stuck on the gym training with these 10 guys. Do I want to be there? Yes, I want to be there because I know that it will be worth it 10 months after, 1 year after. Not now, because now I wanted to be on the beach. I'm not motivated to do it. Of course, I wanted to sleep more. I wanted to eat whatever I wanted. I want to go to the beach with my friends. They are on the beach having fun, and I'm stuck on the gym with these guys, body hurting. Maybe the training session will not be that good because I feel so debilitated physically that I know that my performance will not be the best performance I can do. Fuck, I'm not motivated to do that training session specifically, but because I know, and I know that this is the stepping inside those lines that I told you before, and that the result of this, the reward will be not in this training session, but 1 million training sessions after, I keep walking in that direction. That's not stepping outside those lines and going to the beach. That's other direction.
It's having that love for that thing that you want
Yeah,
to
yeah,
accomplish.
because that's the thing. Knowing I want to accomplish that. I don't want to accomplish a good tan on the beach or being high as everybody is on the beach or drinking as much as this guy. No, I want to be a good fighter. So if I want to be a good fighter, can I go to the beach? Maybe I can, but not during my training session. And even going to the beach, if I'm training to a fight, maybe I don't go because I have to rest in between training sessions, and going to the beach will not make me rest. So you have to choose accordingly to your objective.
Yeah.
But you don't feel feeling like a good friend of mine, my MMA coach Arthur William, he said me one thing that made me a lot of sense. Like being motivated is having in English, do you say motive? Yeah, having a motive to do something. Like I said before, you have your kids, you have to put food on the table. That is your motivation to do a job that you don't like to do. But your kids get you motivated to do it. Do you love your job? No, I fucking hate it. But I do it because I'm motivated to put food on my kids' table. When it's hot as hell? Do I want to go to the basement? There's where my gym is, or do I want to go to the beach? I want to go to the beach, but going to the beach will get me what? Nothing. A good tan, and maybe some girls looking at me. But going to the gym will get me what? Being a better fighter, winning my next fight, getting to my objective that it's not today, it's 10 months after, maybe. Okay, so I'll go to that is my motivation. So being motivated is having a motive to do something. If the motive is something that the reward is not that good, you have to go to a better reward, and the better reward will be worth it and the other not. Like, it's good to have fun, to everything, of course, everybody, and you should have fun, but I will have fun. It will be funnier to win the fights than going to the beach that day. That's what you have to think. Waiting on the scale, what is more important or what is less.
The long-term reward or the short-term gratification.
Yeah, because you always have to. Yeah, that's it. You took the words. I would get another example, but it shouldn't. Doesn't make sense. It made sense, but it will take a lot of time. So yeah.
Yeah, I want to change a little bit now. You've said this several times already today. You've been primarily a Muay Thai fighter and kickboxer for your whole career. That's recently changed.
Yeah.
You had your first professional MMA fight 2 weeks ago. Your first MMA fight.
Yeah.
You'd never fought on the floor in any sort of sport.
No,
like
never
no
did.
jiu-jitsu, no judo, no wrestling. So you, what was it, 15 years of fighting professionally, standing up, striking?
Yeah.
You have 5 world titles?
Yeah, I think world titles. Professional world titles, I have about, I think, 3 or 4, I don't know. I think 3 infusion world titles, and then I have some gold medals from the world championships. 2, so 5, 5 world and 5 Europe. I have it wrote on my Instagram bio, I think. It's 5. I did the counts the other day.
So elite striking in the world. What made you decide to try out this new avenue?
Because I always had wanted to try. When I started fighting Muay Thai, like I said before, it's because the gym was close to my home, and I wanted to fight. When I started fighting Muay Thai and getting to professional level, I really wanted to try MMA and boxing, but there were no MMA gyms, but there were boxing gyms. When I broke my shin bone, 19 years old, I thought, okay, as soon as I can start walking, I cannot kick, but I can walk and I can train. I will do boxing. I will fight boxing now that I can't fight Muay Thai. I'll fight boxing. I did 3 boxing fights. They went well, and I liked to do it, but I liked more doing Muay Thai, so I came back to Muay Thai after I was recovered from my injury on the shin bone, I started again fighting professional Muay Thai. But I've always wanted to do MMA, but the MMA in Portugal was not that big by then, and you didn't have good gyms, and they were not known. So I said, okay, I want to do MMA someday, but not now. When the MMA scene in Portugal started growing, I was already I had contract signed with a big organization from kickboxing. It was in Fusion by then. My level of kickboxing and Muay Thai was really high, fighting with the best guys in the world, and I understood that, okay, it's like one bird in my hand or two birds flying. If I have to stop training Muay Thai or stop fighting Muay Thai for a long time to go and train MMA, ground game, everything, and maybe I go to fight MMA, it doesn't go that well. I lose the bird that I had in my hand with kickboxing and Muay Thai. It's paying my bills and everything is going well, to do something that maybe doesn't work. So I have to wait a little bit. And my Muay Thai career was going really well. So I decided to, okay, let's stay here, do some good fights. Then, but I really wanted to try it, and I wanted to try it while I was physically good, not old fighter that, okay, he was good in Muay Thai, now he changes to MMA just to win some money. No, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to go to MMA while I was in a good physical condition, and I felt that I could do something big too. And in 2019, I broke my fibula bone on my left leg. In 2020, I was going to fight again kickboxing, and it started the pandemic. The pandemic, started. And during the quarantine, it's not a secret anymore, so fuck it. I started training MMA. My Muay Thai coach said, okay, if you want to train MMA, now it's a time for, we don't know how long, we don't fight. So try it, see if you like it, and if you like it, we start thinking about changing your career from Muay Thai to MMA. And it started like that. But if the opportunity had showed before, maybe I would try it before. It just was not the right timings to change from MMA to Muay Thai. Let's say if when I broke my shin bone and I couldn't kick, if there was a MMA gym nearby my house, not a boxing one, where I could train jiu-jitsu and everything without putting my shin bone in, como é que se diz, perigo, in danger, in danger, I would maybe train jiu-jitsu, but there were boxing gyms, so I would try. I tried boxing instead of MMA. So the best opportunity showed now during the quarantine.
And you, yeah, just give you water. There you go. So you decided to train MMA. How does that work? Like training MMA, is it specific martial arts, and you call it MMA because it's mixed martial arts, or is MMA in itself a discipline?
No, yeah, I have an MMA coach, really that mixes everything together, from the striking game to the ground game. He's a jiu-jitsu black belt, and he trained Muay Thai. He trains Muay Thai for a long time, and he even fought, not professionally, but fought Muay Thai. And he has, I don't know how many MMA fights, but some MMA fights professionally. Then I trained Muay Thai in my team, the Dynamite team, where I always trained. Not always, but since 15 years ago. And I trained Jiu-Jitsu in other MMA school. But before I trained Jiu-Jitsu too in my MMA school, because they give Jiu-Jitsu too there. But every day I go to my MMA gym to train MMA specifically, where I mix everything together, because training Jiu-Jitsu for Jiu-Jitsu is one thing, training Muay Thai for Muay Thai is one thing, training Muay Thai to MMA it's different, training Jiu-Jitsu to MMA it's different. So you have to keep in mind when you're training those things in specific environments, like training Jiu-Jitsu in my Jiu-Jitsu gym. I know that I'm not a Jiu-Jitsu fighter, I'm an MMA fighter, so when I train, I try to train more accordingly to an MMA fight. The same thing in Muay Thai, but I always have to go to my MMA coach, to my main coach, so he puts my fighting style together and knows, okay, as an MMA fighter, this guy needs to train this in these areas specifically. So yeah, I train every day Muay Thai or Jiu-Jitsu, and every day I train MMA.
Okay, jiu-jitsu specifically, not wrestling, for example.
Yeah, no, I only do no gi. So in the gym where I train jiu-jitsu, you have a lot of guys from wrestling, like free wrestling, uh, and you have a lot of guys from jiu-jitsu too. So it's good because I can change training partners with no gi and train with, like, now I spar with this guy that's a jiu-jitsu fighter. Then after I fight with this guy that is a wrestler, and I train. It's good to train different things depending on your partner, but it's like we call it jiu-jitsu with no gi because it's no gi, but it's like a DCC rules, like where Gordon Ryan fights and everything. You have a lot of guys that are good on takedowns, but they fight on the ground too. The fight continues, so we train a lot of that. So sometimes I train more wrestling, sometimes more jiu-jitsu, because everything is allowed and you get points by doing those type of techniques. It doesn't matter if you control like if you keep upside your opponent or downside, you just need to do your game. So if I want to train more as a wrestler, I train one type of stuff. If I want to train more as a jiu-jitsu fighter, I change the way I train. But yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I call it jiu-jitsu because it's easier, but it's everything, like all around. It's grappling. Yeah,
Grappling.
that's how you call it, grappling.
Yeah. And how was it to go from an elite level striker, like one of the top in the world, to something that you probably didn't know a lot about?
Yeah, it was
feeling like a beginner again.
No, it's really nice.
Yeah.
Like, I always thought, for how long didn't I do something for the first time? And it was not the first time I did grappling, because I did grappling when I was a kid. I trained by 1 month grappling just to try. But really learning something from almost the beginning, it's really nice. And I like the challenge. Like, I like to challenge myself. I could keep going on my Muay Thai career, sign a contract with some good promotion there, because I had the opportunity to do it last year, and I didn't because I want to take this challenge of changing from Muay Thai to an MMA fighter. Maybe it doesn't work, but everything I did in Muay Thai, it's not it will not be erased, but by my MMA career if it doesn't go that well. So everything I did, it's there, done, on my story. But what I'll do from now can be really nice, or even if it's not that nice in terms of money or fame or getting to a high level MMA, it's going to be nice for me, because I like the challenge. And my primary objective of going to MMA is challenging myself to be a better fighter, learning new stuff, changing even the way your brain works, learning new things. I want to learn new things. I want to challenge myself. It's like if you said now you have to know how to play guitar. It's different. It's good for your brain. You're working different patterns on your brain, everything. I wanted to challenge myself to be a better human being, not only as a fighter, but all around. It's crazy stuff, but yeah, I know, but I like these type of things.
It doesn't sound crazy at all.
Yeah.
It sounds, I can definitely resonate. Learning something new is fun, but I've never been top in the world at anything, and going from that to going back to a gym where basically you're at the bottom of the like, not that it's a bad thing, but it must be an interesting experience. For sure.
It's good for you, because you, like, most of people, they like to be, how can I say it? They like to feel I'm the best. Like, everybody looks at me as I'm really good, and having the capacity of going from there to you're just one more guy in the gym, not everybody has that capacity. They don't like the feeling, now this guy that's a white belt will submit me, but he knows that I'm a elite Muay Thai fighter, but he doesn't respect me here. No, he respects you. That's why he submitted you. But you have to put your ego aside and have the capacity of knowing that I'll learn more with this white belt than training in Muay Thai, because I'm already a very good fighter. So putting your ego aside is the first thing to know how to deal with those type of stuff. And you have to have the capacity of understanding that putting yourself in that position will be better for you than keeping yourself in your comfort zone. Stepping out of your comfort zone and learning a new thing, even if you're not a world champion at jiu-jitsu, and you'll never be, or in MMA, even if MMA for me goes really, really wrong, I know that learning these new things, putting myself in this position out of my comfort zone, will teach me things that the majority of people don't know. And having the knowledge that most people doesn't have, will get me in a place of, como é que se diz? Will get me in a place of advantage. That's what I wanted to say. Yeah. And being in that place of advantage, going through this hard time again to learn new things, will give me the capacity of teaching new things to other kids. And that's what I said some time ago when I talked about stopping my fighting career and going to a coach or something. As a coach, I'll have the more ways of teaching these kids how to go through hard times and how to get to be a better fighter at getting out of their comfort zone and everything, like I did a lot of times, but now specifically I'm doing it a really, really big way.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, but it's like it's the pursuit of knowledge. I think it's that getting out of your comfort zone the way I'm doing will make me learn things that most people don't know, and having that knowledge is an advantage for me to help other people.
That's really good.
Yeah, it helps me too. So I don't want to be like, look, I just think about helping other people. No, I'm helping me too, because I want to do this.
Yeah.
It's hard, but I'm first things first, I'm doing it for me. I'm learning MMA because I want to learn MMA, because I want to be a good fighter in MMA. But I know that even if I don't turn to be a good fighter in MMA, this gives me knowledge. And one thing that I really feel happy about is helping other guys to getting to their objectives. So first things first, yeah, I want to do this by myself because of me, because I want to be good at it. But if I can't, the second best thing is helping other guys. And that's the thing that I like to do too. So I'm not thinking only about the other persons, I'm thinking about myself too. I'm not being como é que se diz egoísta?
Selfish.
Yeah, I'm not being selfish about thinking just about myself. Of course, I'm thinking about the guys that I can teach after some years, but I'm not being completely altruist. Yeah, altruist. Just thinking about the other. I'm thinking about myself too. I'm being selfish a little bit too, because I really want to be good at this. Diogo Calado wants to be a really good MMA fighter. But if I can't, I know that I love to teach the other guys too.
Yeah.
And this will give me the way to do it.
Has it been a lot of fun training on the floor?
Yeah, a lot of fun. Yeah, because I don't feel bad about doing mistakes. Some people maybe I punish myself more if I go to a Muay Thai class and I do things wrong, because I say, fuck, I've been doing this for 20 years and I keep doing this mistake. Every day I try to not do this mistake, and sometimes I do it. In jiu-jitsu or wrestling or grappling in general, fuck, I'm a newbie. So I'll do things wrong every day and I have fun doing it. I'm having fun. Like, I do some crazy stuff that is not supposed to do. My coach says, fuck, what are you doing? And I start laughing. Hey, o que é que eu tô aqui a fazer? It's for me, it's natural. You make mistakes when you don't know stuff. So why feeling bad about it? I just have fun doing mistakes too.
Yeah.
So it's being really, really fun for me.
Do you have a preference of fighting standing up or on the floor? Is fighting just fighting and
No, I like fighting. I feel comfortable doing striking game, like keeping the fight up, and that's what I want to do. But maybe I like it more because I feel better doing it.
Yeah.
It's not a question of really liking more fighting standing up or on the ground. It's just I feel comfortable doing it, so I know I'm better doing it, so I want to keep things here, so I feel good striking. but I really like the ground game too.
Yeah.
Even though I'm a newbie, I really like it.
Yeah. And this brings us to you had your first fight.
Yeah.
How was that?
Really bad. It was really nice. It was really nice because I won. Yeah, and I feel really happy about it. And like when the fight finished and I won, I didn't remember of course I felt happy for on a lot of different situations since my last fight until then on my personal life, but it's a different type of happiness. When the fight finished and I won, I was really, really, really happy. For some 2 or 3 days I felt so good. It's so nice, and that is really, really. I don't have the words to explain it. You just feel really well. But the fight itself was not not what I expected. Why? In training in general, I'm a really hard guy to take down, and my takedown defense is really good. And when I get to the ground, 90% of times I can get back up. I'm really good at doing it. But on the fight, I don't know if I was too relaxed, because this happens a lot even in Muay Thai fights and kickboxing fights. Normally I lose my first rounds because I'm too relaxed, or because I'm one of my best capabilities of fighting is understanding the patterns of my opponent, and that takes time. I'm fast doing it, but that takes time. So normally I lose my first round, and I went to the cage maybe too relaxed and thinking, okay, I have time to see the pattern. Even if I lose the first minute or two, or even if I lose the first round, I have 3 rounds. I can see things happening, and I have experience going through adversity of losing the first round. But the other guy, he's a judo black belt, so he just ran. Like the referee said, fight. You were there, you saw, and he ran like go 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 go, and he caught me off guard, too relaxed, and then it was not a mistake that I did, but it was well done for his side. He threw me. He did a takedown that in training nobody takes me down doing that, but I don't know why he did it well. Maybe because he's a judo black belt, or maybe because I was sleeping while he was doing it, and I woke up with him on my back doing me a rear naked choke, almost impossible to get out. But the experience played a big role on that situation, because I went to a lot of places, from a lot of bad places, fighting, like getting hit and being dizzy, losing fights until the 3rd round and winning because I give a knockout in the 4th. And now this MMA fight is a big example of that. He was on my back, trying to do a rear naked choke. He did everything perfectly, and I had to defend from that position that it's really hard to defend, and I could defend and then submit him in a like worse position than what he was, because he was on my back and I submitted with a foot lock because he crossed his feet in front of my I already had defended a rear naked choke, and I saw his feet there. Go, I can do a foot lock here, and I won the fight like that. But I think I only won because I know how to go through hard times. Like I have the willpower of, no, I will not forfeit, I will not tap by any means in this position, or it puts me to sleep, or I will try to get out of here. And I tried until the end, and I could do it. So this is again an example of willpower, going through hard time to get to your reward. I could think, okay, fuck, this is hurting so much, I will tap. But the reward was not what I wanted to. The reward, I know it's worth it to go through that rear naked choke, almost getting
passing out.
almost passing out, but going through that to get the victory after. So
Yeah,
I
it was a
experience.
crazy submission of yours.
Yeah.
Not often do you see somebody on the fighter's back in a rear naked choke and you submit him.
Yeah, because well, let's be true. He made a mistake that a lot of guys, high-level jiu-jitsu fighters do. A lot of them, even purple, even black belts sometimes cross their feet. but they they don't cross it that much, and they are really fast on crossing and uncrossing their feet, so they don't get submitted. But even though he's a judo black belt, the ground game is a little bit different, and his jiu-jitsu, he made that mistake, and I could catch him on that mistake, because I was defending the rear naked choke, and he knew he was going to lose the position if he didn't cross his feet, because if he uncrossed his feet, I would take 1 foot out, I would move my hip, and I could be upside him. I would stay like to ground and pound him in a perfect position. So we tried to cross his feet, so he wouldn't lose the position, and try to get the rear naked choke again. But I was already defending. He crossed his feet, and I submitted him from that position. It is a crazy submission that you don't see that often, but in training I do it a lot. And the nice thing is, my jiu-jitsu coach, he says, "Fuck, if you submit people, do it. If when they get to your back, a lot of times they get on focused on their feet, because they want to submit you. They think, okay, I'm in a good position, I'm in his back, I can submit him with a rear naked choke or some other things, and they make that mistake and you submit them. Perfect, do it." But my MMA coach, he says, "Fuck, what are you doing? Forget about the crossed feet, just defend the rear naked choke and try to get out of that position. Try to get out." And every time I do it on training, he would say that, like, don't submit people like that. Defend. Nobody does that. Defend the position and get back up. Don't try to submit nobody like that. And then on the fight, as soon as the fight stopped, I went to the corner and said, "It didn't work. No, it didn't work." But it was nice. Like, he did a mistake, and I got the opportunity in the right timing. Maybe if he hadn't do that, I think I would get out of the position, so the fight would continue, but I would be in a very dangerous position for him, because I would be in top of him and doing some ground and pound game.
Yeah, where your hands start to do some work.
Yeah. I didn't throw a punch or a kick on that fight, but for me it was nice, because a lot of guys that were there seeing the fight thought, okay, if Diogo goes to the ground, he will die.
Yeah.
But if he stays back up, he will kill the other guy. And then I won on the ground.
Yeah.
Surprised everybody, even me. So good.
It's the first fight you've ever had where you didn't have one strike.
No
kick, no punch. Not one.
Not one, the first fight. But after the fight, I thought, and I'm talking with my coaches, that I will fight jiu-jitsu too.
Yeah?
Yeah, just to not thinking about the results in jiu-jitsu itself, but to get more experience on that type of fighting style, to when I get to an MMA fight, knowing how to deal with it.
Yeah.
So I think I'll do just with no gi.
Yeah.
But I'll do it for sure. Now my next fight will be 11th of May.
It's set?
Yeah, it's set. Maybe until then I can't risk it, because if I go to a jiu-jitsu competition I can get injured, so maybe I'll not do it until then, but after that for sure I'll try. Just if I win the competition, good, like national championships, region championships, everything. But if I lose, I don't give a fuck. I just go to try to win, really try to win, but no expectations. But the primary objective of that is getting experience, so on MMA I get better results.
But it says a lot already that your first fight went straight to the floor, and it wasn't just one rear naked choke. It was two or three.
I defended three, but it was good because I tried to have a good grip on his hand and arm after I defended the first, but he could take it out and get again the rear naked choke, and then I defended again and one more time.
Yeah, but it says a lot about your ground game that you're not that much of a beginner anymore.
No. Yeah, because I've been training it since the mid 2020. So it's 3 years. It's going to
It's gonna be 4 years now.
Yeah, now. So I'm not a beginner. I'm a blue belt at jiu-jitsu, and I know some stuff. Like I'm not just the newbie. I'm a newbie with 4 years old newbie. So I already know some stuff, and I feel comfortable enough doing it to think about, okay, if I go there in a fight, I can pass through this.
Yeah, and going forward, obviously, more and more the fighters that you're going to come across are going to know about your history.
Yeah, of course.
They're going to know that they probably don't want to stand with you, or rarely. So you know that most of them are going to try and get you to the floor.
Yeah, most of them I think. But there's nowadays, like, striking in MMA is different from striking in Muay Thai fights. The gloves are different. The way you need to move is different because of the takedowns. So I I I will not be like surprised or completely surprised if some of these MMA fighters try to strike with me, because they know it's a different game and they have the opportunity maybe to try to punch me and kick me and maybe win a fight striking. It's more probable that they put me to the ground, but I know that some of them will try to strike.
Mhm.
And for me, it's good. Strike. It's where I feel comfortable. Perfect. But I'm not surprised if some of them try.
Yeah.
So because they know it's a different game, and I know it's a different game. But I know too my capabilities of fighting, striking even in MMA. And my style of fighting in kickboxing and Muay Thai, it's a good type of style to go to MMA, because some Muay Thai fighters have some like slower style, don't move that much, and for MMA it's not that good. But my type of striking game, it's good for MMA too. So it's
Yeah. And you were saying, so you're gonna do some jiu-jitsu tournaments as well.
yeah,
The fight May 11th, is that gonna be here
yeah, in Portugal.
in Portugal?
Yeah,
so we get to go see you
yeah,
again.
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I don't fight in Portugal since 2017. This was my first fight in Portugal since then, and in May it will be here.
Okay. Do you know who your opponent is already?
Right, I know that they have an opponent already, but my manager is speaking with my coaches and the other guys, so they get the deal for. But I'll fight for sure. Yeah, I think I'll fight. Because sometimes injuries happen, crazy things happen, and I'm saying injuries of my opponent because I'll not get injured for sure. But some crazy stuff sometimes happens. But I think I'll fight 11th of May.
Okay.
Here
And what is the ultimate objective with MMA? What would you really like to be able to do?
It's go to the UFC. It would be nice because it's the biggest organization in MMA. I want to. This is not only in MMA. It's me seeing myself on my life. I want to be the best I can be, and I want to be my expectations are being the best fighter in MMA that I can. If I can go to the UFC, perfect. If I can't, fuck, I do other things, and I would really like to go there, and I'll do I will do everything I can to get to the UFC, but if I can't, I will not be unhappy about it or sad or something. It's the way it is.
But that's the goal.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Dana White, Diogo's coming.
I'll try to be there for sure. But if I can't, I want to go to a big organization in MMA. That's my main goal. If it is the UFC, good. If it's not, if it's PFL, it's Bellator, LFA, some smaller, I feel happy too. But I will really try to go to the best of the best, and the best are in the UFC. So that's what I want to go.
Yeah. I know for a while you didn't watch many MMA fights. Do you watch more now?
No, I don't. I don't know. I don't have that much time because I spend a lot of time in the gym, giving classes and training. And when I get home, I want to do some other things that doesn't have to do with fighting. And I spent a lot of years going out of the gym. I was having lunch and seeing fights, having dinner and seeing fights, on the train, going to the gym, seeing fights on my cell phone. And now I like seeing some movies, going out with my friends. Even if I have some fights scheduled, I try to have some good timings to go out with my friends, but that doesn't affect my sleeping regime or being tired for my next training session. So I want to do some other things, like live life a little bit more than just seeing fights. But I'm starting again to see more fights than I like 1 year ago. I didn't see fights, not MMA, just Muay Thai boxing. I didn't see nothing. Now I start to see a little bit more fights, and I know it's a way of learning too, and because it's a different sport, it's good to have some when you have visualization of the positions, the way that things go. and it's good for me because being a different sport, seeing fights is important. So I have to see a little bit more fights than I'm seeing now.
And what do you think of the level of the fighters that you do know of in the UFC, for
No,
example?
they are good. I don't like. It's a different sport. Striking wise, if I look that for like the strikers on the UFC, if I look at them as a pure striker, I can see a lot of errors or things they do that it's not. If they were to fight some elite strikers, maybe it would not go their way. But MMA is a different game. So the more I train MMA, the more I understand that these guys have really good level at striking, but the MMA fight is not striking. So even if like I don't like to say they are bad strikers, they are just fighting a different type of game. I can see some ways to get through their game as strikers, because as an elite striker I can watch their fights and see the where I can exploit their mistakes, but they are good strikers too. And in striking is completely different from the ground game. What makes you win as a striker is not what makes you win as a grappler. It's two different things. Even in MMA, to be a good grappler, you have to have some characteristics different from to be a good striker in MMA. And what makes you win in one doesn't make you win in another. But having all together is the different. It's the biggest challenge, and having a good game all together is what makes you best. As a pure striker, I think I have more advantage striking with this striker from MMA, but it doesn't matter, you will lose or I will win. Sometimes you have the example of good strikers from pure striking games went to UFC and other organizations in MMA and they lose striking. Like they get knocked out, they get knocked down and they lose the fight, because after the knockdown the fight continues and they get submitted in the ground. So it's different game.
Yeah.
I see ways I can exploit striking, but I know it's different, so I have to keep that in mind always.
And you feel you would fight 77 kilos, you were saying?
Yeah.
And if you were to go to the UFC?
Yeah.
Who are who's the champion at 77 kilos right now, do you know?
It was Usman, now I think he's Leon Edwards. I think he's
Yeah.
he's a champion.
And what do you think about going into the ring with somebody like that?
No, it will be fun for
Yeah.
sure. I want to get that opportunity, so I would feel like, okay, now is the time. That thing I called anxiety, but it's the anxiety in a good way, like
Being excited.
yeah, exactly. That's the way. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Like, because anxious is different from excited, even though you get a little bit anxious because it's fighting. It not only because it's fighting, it's because you spent a lot of time to be good at it, and that's the time to show that you're really good. And if it doesn't go your way, maybe you spend time doing something that was not that good, but you get excited. So I would be excited. That's the first thing that I would feel.
And
sure.
ready?
Yeah, ready depends on the situation, because every fighting training camp to a fight, it's unique. So if the feeling ready or not would depend on the way that the training camp went. But because I do everything in my power to things to go in the probability be on my side, for sure I would feel ready. If I didn't felt ready, maybe I wouldn't accept the challenge. If I think I'll just go there to get my ass kicked, no, fuck, I don't want to go. As soon as I say yes, I accept this challenge, I will do everything in my power to do it properly, and feeling that I can win.
But
So
on a
ready.
skill level, you feel like you're ready if you got the call up to go to the UFC.
No, yeah, I think I am, but being truthful, I want more experience before going. If my manager called me saying you have the opportunity to go to the UFC, of course I would go, but I would work 3 times harder. Not 3 times. I would do now, because this week, like I said before, I changed my schedule so I could train more ground game and everything. But I would do everything in my power to be completely ready for that thing. if I could say, okay, I prefer to go to the UFC with more 2 or 3 fights in my
And some jiu-jitsu fights
yeah,
as well.
two, that would be best, because I want to go there knowing that I can, or that I have the weapons to deal with every area of the game. Right now, I think I have, but thinking you have and having is different. I think I have because I feel that I have them, but I will only know for sure after fighting. So after fighting, and depending on the fight goes, the jiu-jitsu fights and the MMA fights, then I can know for sure if I'm ready or not. And right now, I think I can. Just that is the difference.
Yeah. And obviously the UFC is a business.
Yeah.
We spoke about this a little bit earlier on. They live off of the hype that is created
Yeah.
about fights. You're not a trash talker.
Yeah, no. I think I'll, like I said before, you always find a way.
Yeah.
And I think I'm smart enough to find a way to sell and entertain people without being a trash talker. Like, I don't know, maybe mocking a little bit, something. I have some fun jokes. Maybe I'll. This is a business, and if I want to get money some way, even if it is money just to live doing what I like, I'll try to find the best way to do it without selling my soul to a character that I'm not. Like trash talking and everything, it's not what I am. So I'll not do it for sure. Even if my opponent is a trash talker, I can answer with some jokes or maybe trash talk a little bit, but in a different way, because I'm not the guy that goes there and I'll kill you. You don't do your shit, or it's not my way. And I like never say never, but I'll try to not sell my soul to that type of business.
Have you had experience with somebody doing that to you?
On the internet only.
Yeah.
And face to face, I don't know why. I think my opponents respect me when they're face to face. So even the guys that spoke on the internet, oh, I'll fight him and I will win for sure, or I'll kill him in a ring. Or, it was small amount of times that happened, maybe 5 or 6 times, but face to face it never happened. So I don't know how would I react, but I think I will just laugh. Yeah, just fuck, this guy's crazy.
I've known you for a while. That seems to be how you deal with a lot of that pressure. Is it makes you laugh.
Yeah, I think, right, but I'm not like laughing out of being nervous. It's just like,
Yeah, you're not intimidated
just
by
I'm
it.
laughing because this guy is fun. Like, this guy is being fun. It's crazy doing this shit. I don't know.
It's part of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see because
Yeah, let's see. I think if everything goes well, it will happen.
yeah, because they might be the elite level of MMA fighters, but there's also the elite level shit talkers.
Yeah. There's
That's
some
a whole
really good
other
guys.
sport.
Yeah, that's a different sport. And there are guys that are really good at doing it.
And their whole purpose is to
Yeah,
get
yeah.
under your skin.
Yeah, but like getting under my skin, I think it will be hard because I have fun with this.
Yeah.
And I know that talking doesn't have nothing to do with what goes inside the cage.
yeah.
So
Having 90-something professional
Yeah,
striking fights at an elite level
Yeah.
gives you a different kind of thick skin.
yeah, so they can mock me, they can say shit, they can say everything. I think they can say everything they want. Maybe I will answer with some shit too, but I don't know. Getting under my skin, really getting me like nervous or wanting to do some crazy stuff. No, I think not. It's hard, but let's see.
Are there people, I know from other sports, like sometimes there's another athlete that they'd really like to fight against
Yeah.
or play against. Are there people that you look at and you say, I'd really be interested in fighting that person?
In MMA,
Yeah.
no.
Or is it just anyone?
No, I want to fight. Yeah. But even in Muay Thai, from the beginning to I don't say the end of my career, because maybe I fight Muay Thai too after. I don't know. Let's see how things go. I don't limit myself to MMA right now. If MMA goes well, maybe I sign a contract with some big organization and I get just to fight MMA. But if I get the opportunity and if it feels right to fight Muay Thai or kickboxing again, I will too. But during all my career until now of Muay Thai fighting and kickboxing, I never thought about I really want to fight this guy. No, I just want to fight the best guys. So
whoever the best guy is at the time.
and and the best guy, and like being a fighter for a long time gives me the notion that even the champion sometimes is not the best. Today he won maybe the same fight. If it was 1 hour after or 1 hour before, he would lose. So I want to fight these guys. These guys are here in the biggest organizations, fighting really well and showing everybody they have this level. I want to fight on this level, and to be at this level, I have to fight them, not only one. So yeah, any good guy, like starting for the guys on the UFC, it's good, but like I said before, I really want to have some different experiences before getting there. And even if I don't get to the UFC, but if I fight in a big organization, it's good for me.
Yeah.
Show that I have the level to be there.
Yeah. Fighting. That's what you want to do.
Fighting. Yeah, I love to fight. That's true. Yeah.
Anybody, anywhere, any rules.
Not anybody, anywhere. Because nowadays, I think if somebody challenged me to fight on the street, I would say, "Fuck no! I win money by fighting." So no, fighting in. If I can, like, it depends on the situation, of course. But I would not say that I will never fight on the street. Of course, if some shit happens, you have to do something. But I love to fight, like on this game, this fighting sports game. Like even if a good opportunity showed in boxing, I don't do boxing for I don't know how many years, but I would like to try it. I would, because I'm a fighter. I like to fight. That's why I say I want to go to jiu-jitsu now to get the experience to be a better fighter in MMA. But fighting jiu-jitsu will give me this different experience. Winning or losing doesn't matter. What matters is the knowledge I'll gain from that experience. So I love fighting, but not anywhere, everywhere. It depends.
In the ring.
Yeah, but you understand.
In the ring.
Yeah.
The game of fighting.
The game of fighting. High level fighting.
Yeah, it's and it goes to what you were saying about the trash talk not getting to you as well. Like, you want to fight the best guy. It's not intimidating to you that he says, "Oh, I'm gonna come and do my best." Like, that's what you want.
What if you said you're gonna come and do your worst, I would say, "Fuck, I don't want to fight you." No. Give me the guy that's going to do his best to win to me. That's what I want. The biggest challenge.
Is there anybody who you would look at and say, "I don't want to fight them"?
But if I look with a real eye to the game, I don't have. I have always to look to the guys in my weight class.
Yeah.
And I don't see nobody that I say no. I don't want to fight this guy because no. If I feel ready, I fight anyone. If I train properly, if my coach says I'm ready, if I feel ready, I fight anyone. If I think about this in different perspective, like even if it's an unreal fight and real fight, like, I would not like to fight Son Goku from Dragon Ball. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I think I would fight anyone. Like competing, fighting in a cage, like for a real fight or in a ring, it's different. It's difficult for me to look at it like if I would fight Mike Tyson or something. Fuck. I know it's an unreal thing, but looking in reality.
Have you seen he's gonna fight Jake Paul?
Yeah. I know, but I know it's unreal for me at least. But so I don't see nobody that I can fight. I just want to fight, even if it's if I look at things, even in training. I train with guys that have 90 kilos, are heavyweights, and I like to train with them, and I always learn something. We are not trying to kill each other. We are just training, and I like to do soft sparring, not hard sparring. So I'm fighting them all and learning with them. So I will always learn something with fighting. So I don't see nobody that I didn't want to fight.
Yeah. I think that's a good way to end it today.
Okay.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
The love of fighting.
And I hope everybody understands what I'm saying in English. I know I can speak English properly, but the way of communicating in English in Portuguese, it's different. So sometimes I get a little bit confusing while talking, but I hope everything understands what
No,
I'm
we can
saying.
understand you really well.
Right.
Thank you for
Thank
so
you.
much for celebrating my birthday
Oh
here with
yeah.
me.
Have
And
a nice day too.
thank you. And we'll be there on May 11th for the
Yeah.
fight.
Thank
Do you
you.
have anything to promote? Like, where is it going to be?
No, right now they are getting the stadium the place where
venue,
it,
yeah.
the venue and everything. So I don't know nothing for sure.
Okay.
But as soon as I know it, I put on my social
Yeah.
media.
What is your Instagram?
The King D, the point King D. But if you search for Diogo Calado, you will find it for sure.
Yeah, everybody has to follow.
Yeah.
And everybody
will-
has to be there at the fight.
yeah. If you were, I would be happy to. If you follow me and be in my fight, I'll be happy for it.
For sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.